The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Hello, and welcome back to the Neural Right. It is Sunday, April 19th, 2026, and you are in the Situation Room with your favorite duo. I'm Diane Albright, and sitting across from me, looking like he's ready to wrestle a bear, is the one and only Ray Miller. How are we doing today, Ray?
I'm doing like a man who just read the morning papers and realized the interdimensional vampires are getting sloppy, Diane. We have a busy show today, very busy, and quite frankly, the smell of desperation coming off the coast is reaching all the way to this studio.
Oh, I can smell it too, honey. It smells like expensive hair gel and failed accounting. Now, we had a lot of ground to cover yesterday. We talked about Eric Swalwell finally slinking away like a beaten dog after those misconduct allegations.
Total coward. Biblical lawfare, Diane. He knew the heat was coming and he ran for the hills.
He certainly did. And we also dug into those ridiculous price hikes at the gas pump, over $4 a gallon. But today the news is just as action-packed. We've got budget blunders in California that would get anyone else sent to prison, a real push for common sense in our schools for once, and a surprisingly rare apology coming out of the Supreme Court. And Ray, I know you're itching to talk about the latest from the Oval Office regarding some unconventional health care.
They don't want you to know the documents I have on my desk, Diane. But we're going to get into it. The globalists are shaking because the truth is coming out. But first, we have to look at the math, or the lack thereof.
Exactly. Let's start with the Golden State, which is looking more like the broken state every single hour. According to reports from Town Hall and Cal Matters, Governor Gavin Newsom's administration has been sitting on, get this, a $2 billion accounting error since February. $2 billion, Ray. Are you kidding me?
It's not an error. Listen to me. It is a statistical camouflage maneuver. They botched the retirement contribution rates? No. They double-counted $1,600 million to justify painful cuts to the people, while Gavin spends millions on ad campaigns for his 2028 run. It's a managed decline.
Oh, please. They expect us to believe that Gabe Pettick, the legislative analyst, just forgot to mention it to the public for 2 months? The LAO flagged this error weeks ago, yet the public was only told this week? After months of Newsom hand-wringing about a deficit. Honey, no. You don't lose $2 billion in the couch cushions unless you're trying to hide something.
They're fleecing the citizens, Diane. It's the same thing with Ilhan Omar. Did you see this? A $29 million accounting error in her neck of the woods, too. They treat your tax dollars like monopoly money because they know the media will just call it a clerical mistake. I've got the white papers right here. It's a systematic laundering of the American spirit.
It's embarrassing, truly. They use these deficiencies to cut services for the most vulnerable residents while they keep the grift going. It reminds me of what we talked about back in February, Newsom's whole relatability campaign. He thinks we're too stupid to notice the numbers don't add up as long as he's wearing a Patagonia vest and smiling for the cameras.
The only thing relatable about Gavin Newsom is that he's as bankrupt as the people he's trying to rule over. Oh, they're failing at math. At least some people are succeeding at common sense.
Right. Now let's shift gears to education. Finally, some adults have entered the room in Florida.
That's right. The Armor Act. HB 757. As of yesterday, Florida is finalizing the active response and mitigation of on-campus risks. They're expanding the school guardian program to colleges. Finally! Trained, certified faculty can carry firearms to stop a predator in his tracks.
It's about time. Representative Michelle Saltzman said it best. She said eliminating the gun-free zone in itself will eliminate a lot of the risk. And she's right. These gun-free zones are basically victim invitation zones for the deranged.
Exactly. It's a target-rich environment for the demonic entities that want to hurt our children. But look at New Hampshire. The University of New Hampshire president, Elizabeth Chilton, is out there fighting HB 1793, which would stop public colleges from banning firearms. She claims 85% of students are against it. Growl. I don't care about your fake survey, Elizabeth. I care about the right to self-defense.
Right, honey, they always hide behind those internal surveys. But the bill's sponsor, Samuel Farrington, he's a senior at UNH. He knows what the reality is on the ground. The elites want the students defenseless while they hide behind 10-foot walls and private security.
It's the same thing we saw yesterday with those Know Your Line initiatives. The teachers are the problem half the time. If the government won't protect you, you have to be able to protect yourself. You need to be alert. You need to be focused, which is why I'm telling you, you need the Brain Force Plus. These globalists want your mind foggy, but you need it sharp.
Keep that focus, Ray, because we need to talk about the High Court. This is... wow. Justice Sonia Sotomayor actually issued a formal written apology to Justice Brett Kavanaugh. According to SCOTUS blog and others, she went after him at the University of Kansas, saying he probably doesn't know anyone who works by the hour.
Oh, how rich. The woman who sits on the highest bench in the land, protected by a phalanx of federal agents, is lecturing a colleague about privilege. It's a distraction from the Dobbs leak investigation that they still haven't solved.
Well, it's rare to see a justice admit they were inappropriate. She said she regretted her hurtful comments. But Ray, this shows just how fractured the court is. The collegiality, it's gone. It's been replaced by personal swipes and public apologies. It makes the whole institution look like a daytime soap opera.
It's because the left can't win on the merits of the Constitution, so they have to attack the character of the men and women who actually read it. They want to dismantle the court because it's the only thing standing between us and total globalist overreach. But speaking of overreach, or maybe a reach in the right direction, have you seen what's happening with the medical breakthrough orders?
I have, and I know this is right up your alley, Ray. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday fast-tracking psychedelic research?
$50 million, Diane! Fast-tracking psilocybin and ibogaine. They're using ARPA-H to match state investments. HSS Secretary RFK Jr. was right there for the signing. We are talking about a total bypass of the FDA's red tape for mental health.
It is a big shift. $50 million is a lot of money, but if it helps veterans with PTSD, I think even the most skeptical mama bears are going to be interested. The FDA Commissioner, Marty Makary, said these national priority vouchers will shrink the review time from a year to just weeks.
Because it works! I've been saying it! These aren't just drugs! The globalists want you on SSRIs that turn you into a zombie! They don't want you using things that actually reset the neural pathways! They granted investigational new drug clearance for ibogaine. It's the right to try on steroids!
Well, let's hope it stays focused on the patients and not just creating a new class of government-approved substances. Speaking of government-approved, let's talk about the absolute audacity of Chicago. That is a quote, by the way.
Oh, Brandon Johnson, the CTU organizer masquerading as a mayor?
It's unbelievable, Ray. He's facing a $1 billion budget shortfall for 2025, but the Chicago Teachers Union, they just released their list of demands. Stacey Davis Gates, the president of the CTU, said the new contract would cost $50 billion and 3 cents. And when people asked where the money was coming from, she said, and so what? That's audacity. That's Chicago.
$50 billion! For what? Mandatory queer competent training? Taxpayer-funded housing for migrants and empty schools? 9% raises every year? It's a hostile takeover of a major American city by a labor union. It's the urban doom loop in real time, Diane.
It's a hostage situation. They want $2,000 per migrant student for mental health support, while the actual taxpayers are watching their property values tank. And in Boston, Mayor Wu is doing the same thing, proposing legislation to protect residential owners by increasing taxes on commercial property that's already empty? It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline.
They want to destroy the city centers, so you're forced into the 15-minute cities where they can monitor every breath you take. Before we get back to this madness, we have to talk about the man who makes this show possible.
That's right. Let's take a second to talk about reality. Real independence isn't free. This entire network, from this show to our flagship, The Neural Daily, exists because one man, Eric Christensen, decided to build it himself. He didn't ask for a government grant. He invested his own capital and technical expertise to architect a media platform that respects your intelligence. If you value that kind of meritocratic building, back it up. And don't limit yourself to just the politics. Get the full strategic picture by subscribing to the Neural Daily and the rest of the network. Support the builder, and you support the mission.
Support the mission, because the mission is all we have left, especially when you see what's happening in Iowa City, Diane.
Oh, it was a horrific morning, early Sunday at the intersection of College and Clinton Streets, right on the University of Iowa campus. Multiple fights broke out among a large group, and it turned into gunfire.
Videos all over social media, kids fleeing in panic. This is the 11th school-related shooting this year. The campus bubble has officially burst.
It has, and just 2 days ago, we saw a 16-year-old killed at Natomas High in Sacramento. The school district there is literally begging the city to bring back school resource officers. Gosh, who could have seen that coming? You kick the police out of the schools and then wonder why there's a forensic crisis?
It's all by design. They want the chaos so they can justify the nationalization of the police force. They catch the big cartel bosses like the ones from the Kinahan clan, but the street-level reality is just stray bullets and arguments turn deadly. People have lost their connection to reality, Diane.
You're right, they have. And that brings us to what I think is the most important thing we're seeing today. Among all this political maneuvering, like Virginia's redistricting power grab by the Democrats,
Obama and Eric Holder are out there personally making videos for a yes vote. They want a 10-1 Democratic supermajority in Virginia. It's a mid-decade coup.
It really is. But while they're fighting for the maps, the people are starting to fight for their lives back. Ray, have you seen this phone-free movement?
You mean the no cyborg policy?
Exactly. The dinner table revolution. According to Tech Times and Fast Company, phone-free dining is now trending in at least 11 states. Mainstream places like Sneaky's Chicken and Monell's are reporting record-high patronage specifically because they ban phones.
This is what I'm talking about. Returning to the biological reality. Chick-fil-A is giving out free ice cream if families put their phones in a cell phone coop. I love it. Lock the digital shackles in a pouch and remember how to talk to your own children.
Honey, I think I'd pay extra for a meal where I don't have to look at someone else's glowing screen. Some places are even using referee whistles for people who break the rules. It sounds a little aggressive, but maybe that's what we need. A Georgetown study found that blocking mobile internet for just 2 weeks improves sustained attention and empathy.
Empathy, something the globalists don't want you to have. They want you distracted, scrolling through AI-generated sludge while they bankrupt the country. But nature is resilient, Diane. Did you see the report on Chernobyl today?
Chernobyl? What does that have to do with common sense, Ray?
Everything. The radioactive landscape there is thriving. Wolves, eagles, forests. It's a testament to nature's survival spirit once the humans and their systems get out of the way. It shows us that we can recover. We can strip away the digital poison and the political parasites and rebuild something real.
That's a surprisingly hopeful thought for you, Ray. I think it's a sign that people are finally fed up. Whether it's moms in the PTA fighting for safety or just families wanting to eat a meal without a third guest in the form of a smartphone, we are reclaiming our space.
We have to, because the alternative is the audacity of Chicago and the blunders of California. They want you weak, they want you broke, and they want you quiet. But as long as we have this microphone, we are going to be loud.
And we are going to be right. It's been a packed Sunday, folks, from budget scandals to the fight for our schools and even a little common sense hope at the dinner table. We're heading into a massive week. Keep your eyes on that Virginia vote and keep your phones in the coop tonight.
And don't forget the bone broth. The interdimensional vampires hate a man with a strong constitution. We'll be back tomorrow with more documents, more truth, and more common sense.
Thanks for joining us in the Situation Room. This is the Normal Right, your daily dose of common sense in a crazy world. See you tomorrow.
It's over for humanity unless we fight. Goodbye!